Today, my friend, we're going to try to fix some viewer footage in Davinci Resolve. The channel My Curious Journal sent this clip to me after watching my Deflicker video and said, John, do you think Deflicker would work on that? If so, I'll buy Davinci Resolve Studio. Well, I took a look at this footage and honestly I didn't think it was too bad, but there were some improvements to be made. So, welcome back to Creator Reality, my friend. Today, we're going to take a look at some features from Davinci Resolve Studio that I think make it worth it, especially if you want to fine-tune your footage after the fact. Now, before we get started, I went back and forth with My Curious Journal via email, and they are shooting on a Sony ZV-1, just like this one, at 30 FPS and a 1/60 or 1/60th shutter speed, which is following the rule of 180 or whatever it's called in photography, and it's the way you're supposed to do it, but the way they panned, I think, caused the issue. They basically did a panning shot like so, and I think that was a little fast. I think in the future, I would recommend a much slower movement, especially with something like the ZV-1, where it doesn't have the world's greatest stabe, but the footage is already recorded, so now we have to fix it, right? So let's jump into Davinci Resolve, and I'll show you what we're working with. So here we are in Davinci Resolve, and I've got a timeline with the original footage from My Curious Journal in it, and you can see as I play it back that there seems to be a little bit of screen tearing and this and that. It doesn't look horrible, but it doesn't look great. We can fix a lot of this. It kind of looks like a flicker, but I don't think it is, but the Deflicker tool does work on it, as I can show you because I've got a whole bunch of copies of it. Look at all these copies. I made changes to everything. We have the original footage. We have the original footage with one deflicker added to it, with 2 deflickers, and then I've got it slowed down to 50% with different levels of flickering, 0, 1, and 2 deflickers on them. So let's take a look at these real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And before I get ahead of myself, you see these blue lines here. It's because I've rendered out the OFX filter and the color output. So I'll show you those in just a second. But this clip has one deflicker on it, starting to look a little bit better. It's kind of fixing that rolling shutter just a little bit. And then the second one, with 2 on there, it looks okay. It's not great. But then I slowed things down. Now, without adding any kind of other processing to it, this is what it looks like when I've slowed this footage down. And this is kind of the panning speed that I would expect someone to film a shot like this on. But it looks all jaggy. John, why does it look jaggy? Well, in this case, what's happening is My Curious Journal is panning the camera like this at 30 frames a second. What slowing it down by half is doing is it's trying to emulate 60 frames a second. So it's showing the first frame one time, showing the first frame a second time, then moving to the second frame, showing it a second time, third frame, fourth frame, fifth frame, sixth frame, and on and on. There's a fix for that that is also another studio-only feature, but one that really makes it worthwhile if you take into account the extra GPU acceleration, magic mask, and a few other things that the studio version of Resolve features that the free one doesn't. So it's kind of a cumulative effect in my book. But let's take a look at what this looks like when I've added some of that secret sauce. See, it got a little bit smoother, and we've got 1 flicker going on. And then when I go to 2 deflickers, it's going to look even a little bit better. Keep in mind, I mentioned earlier, we're going to use the render cache. It's really nice to your computer to use the render cache because then Resolve does the math one time and just plays frames that are pre-processed off your disk. Way smoother, way easier on the computer. Let the GPU and the CPU crunch all the numbers while you're getting a cup of coffee or whatever, and then you come back and it's already there. Those blue lines mean the disk has all those frames pre-rendered, so all Resolve has to do is decode and show them on screen. Now my computer right now is running OBS and Resolve and a bunch of other things, so the playback may not be perfect. But now, we've taken a look at some of the end effects. How did we get there? Let's start at the beginning with the deflicker. So over here, I've got my original clip, and we're going to add deflicker to it first. So with the effects tab open, you can click on it until you see it. Under Resolve Effects, Filters, there's going to be a deflicker in here. The quick way to find things is just to come up here to your magnifying glass and type in flick or deflick, and there it is. If you can't find an effect, just click on all these headers after you've entered your search term, and it'll show you what falls in there. See, we've got some flicker stuff there, nothing there, but oh, there it is. So we'll drag it on, and now we've got it over here in the effects tab of our inspector. If you don't see the inspector, click on inspector until you do. But Deflicker, we've got a bunch of settings in here. We're going to ignore the restore original and the speed optimization options. They don't really help us in this case. In fact, there's probably an edge case that does require those, but like speed optimization options limit analysis area. The whole screen is sort of flickering. We need the whole thing to be anti-flicker. So I'll close that, and we're going to change our Deflicker settings from time lapse. You could choose fluoro light if you have fluorescent lights. It's hard to say. And that would be a default that you could work with. But for this, we're going to go with advanced controls. So I'm going to click that, and it gives us this temporal NR section, this noise reduction. I played around. I tinkered with this clip for a while. I found that frames either side was best set to 5. The motion estimation type was set to better. You have faster, better, and none. So we're going to go with better. And motion range, I changed it from small to medium and large, but medium had the best effect. I didn't change the threshold or motion threshold or split the luma chroma. What I did do was add a second copy of Deflicker. So I'm going to do that now. And you'll notice it collapsed the first one and brings up the second one. We can set it up the same way, except I want to leave motion range at small. Don't know why, but it just works this way. Now when we play it back, it's going to be ugly. 11 frames a second, and it's choppy. That's no good. So we're going to right-click, and we can choose Render Cache OFX Filter, and we're going to click on the first deflicker, and then we're going to right-click on it again and choose the second deflicker, and then we're going to let Davinci Resolve render this. Now that it's done rendering, we can play this back, and it already looks a lot better. I think that looks a lot better. And granted, it wasn't all that bad to begin with, but there we have it. Now, when I got this footage and I saw it, and I was like, it just doesn't look that bad. Can I make it look worse so that I can really see and just dig into what exactly is causing this flickering? Well, that's when I slowed it down. So for that, I've brought a brand new copy of our clip in, and all we have to do to slow this down is go to speed change in the video tab of our inspector, double click on change speed, type in 50, press tab, and then we can stretch this out. Alternatively, Control Z to undo that, we can right click, change clip speed, double click on speed, type in 50, press tab, it's now set, but we can ripple the timeline, which will then change the length. So that's pretty cool, right? You got two ways to do that, but when we play it back, it's really flickery. Now you can really see the flicker that My Curious Journal was talking about. There is a studio-only feature that allows us to fix that, which is pretty cool. So to shortcut this, I'm going to click on the original clip, Control-C to copy, click on our new clip, Alt-V to paste attributes, and it's got plugins selected. That's all we need to copy. So I will apply that, and now it's got the FX icon like the first one. And if we go over to effects, it's been populated with 2 deflickers. And it's going to render that out in our render cache. But this doesn't fix the problem. What we need is optical flow. This is a feature in Davinci Resolve that interpolates or makes up the frames where they're missing. So in our case, while this is rendering, I can talk for a minute, instead of showing frame 1 twice, and then frame 2 twice, and then frame 3 twice, it'll show frame 1 once, what it thinks should be a frame that's missing now in between 1 and 2, or frame 1.5 if you will, and then frame 2, and then the made up frame 2.5, and then frame 3. And depending on how you slow it down, you'll get more and more interpolated frames that Davinci Resolve can then make up or invent with the optical flow turned on. So how do you turn that on? Well, you go to your video tab of the inspector and you scroll all the way down to retime and scaling. And by default, all 4 of these should be project settings. We're only going to worry about retime process and motion estimation today. But if you drop down retime process, you get nearest, frame blend, and optical flow. If you have the free version of Resolve, I think you get nearest and frame blend, but optical flow comes with Davinci Resolve Studio. And alongside GPU acceleration, better hardware encoding and decoding of video, magic mask, and a slew of transitions and effects and other little helpful features, it's worth the one-time purchase of $300 in my opinion. So where do we go from here? We go to motion estimation and we change it from project settings to enhanced better. We have standard faster, standard better, enhanced faster, enhanced better, AI speed warp faster, AI speed warp better. The further you go down this list, the more complicated it gets, but the more better, no, that's not the right word, but the better it can get. And I say that with an asterisk right here, because I've played with this on a number of clips, and you've seen it on social media when you see like a snowboarder spinning in the air or a skateboarder doing a trick, and there's weird artifacting and warping going on. That is usually something like this optical flow that is interpolating these missing frames and not doing the world's greatest job of it. And in some cases, enhanced better does a better job than AI enhanced, but in this case, I got good enough with enhanced better. I didn't have to go to that next level where it was just going to crunch on my computer for even longer and longer. Now, just in case you're wondering, I did a video on my laptop over here, but the quick rundown is it's an NVIDIA 5090 GPU. It's got 64 gigs of RAM and an Intel 285HX processor. And it's a laptop, so it's got the laptop specs for those processors and GPUs and stuff. But it's still pretty good. That RAM is 6400 megahertz, DDR5. It's good stuff. Anyway, moving on. We're going to select Enhanced Better here, and it's not going to play back super great. Even though this line is blue, that is just for the OFX filters, the deflicker. So when I play this back, again, it's really slow. So to fix that, we can right-click and choose Render Cache Color Output. And now, with that selected and both of our deflickers rendering, now Resolve is going to go in and it's going to pre-render all these frames so it doesn't have to crank my GPU and CPU and my RAM all the time, just this one time. It's good stuff. Again, it's nice for your computer to not have to work so hard. It lets you do the more creative stuff and not worry about playback speeds, right? That too? Win-win all around? It's not done yet. All right, so now it's done. Davinci Resolve has made up all the missing frames, and in my opinion, it's going to get rid of some of that motion blur, but with the deflicker on there, it just looks buttery smooth. Let's go ahead and take a look. And there you go. That looks like it was shot at 60 FPS, doesn't it? It just looks really good. So that's that. Did we fix My Curious Journal's footage? Did we make an improvement? Did you learn anything? Drop me a comment below. Do you have a question about Davinci Resolve? Also, drop me a comment below. I'm happy to help, as you can see now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you're having a great day. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you over here in this video. It's one of mine. I'm sure you'll learn something and like that too. And I'll see you there. John out.